trouble because they did this. And some law firms do that, and some law firms believe you stay away from that.
For example, I think this year a lot of properties actually at TOP. Developers are actually releasing
It's just going down a big firm, and I don't care about everything else.
So
Which one would you?
But then next few years, I think.
So there's a lot of talk about 1991 out there, and the government basically clamped down on a bunch of people that did this, and they are getting into trouble because they did this. And some law firms do that, and some law firms believe you stay away from that. You didn't want to touch anything with that. What are your 2 cents for? What do you stay from it in the first place?
Because you see, how
were the ones dealing with the 1991 basically somewhat, I'm not saying break the law, but skirting the law a little bit?
Well, this one I think is for you to
it's for
see.
It's for the government to go and figure
it out. But the ones that are having issues is actually those that actually buy the under construction property as an individual, one person first, then selling it off before they for example before the TOP or completion, they've really sold off the share.
Right.
Yeah. So the person that comes in actually in essence owns a percentage of the property. So this is what so far what I think it can be seen again on papers that this is what the government is trying to stop.
So basically, one guy buys 100%.
Yes.
And because he, for some reason, may not be able to pay for the loan, so he needs somebody else who can help him with getting a loan.
That is one option, but we must explain it very clearly that you are looking at under construction properties only.
Yes.
Not resale. Resale is generally what we mean is the property has been there for years, actually someone's living there kind of thing. So that's resale. So the focus is not there. The focus is on the under construction properties whereby developer just sold to you, you only have to pay the first 20%.
Right.
Those sort of properties.
So somebody owns, he goes in, he buys this property, and then what he does is somewhere down the road, he sells 1% to a friend or a spouse, or your father comes in, and because now the father comes in and owns 1% of the property, and because the father's earning potential is a little bit more, they don't really pay the ABSD for that, and basically what they and then because of that they're able to get a loan from that, and that's what the government is basically clamping down on. Because the government goes back to why was this done in the first place, and if this was done to basically avoid ABSD, then those people will get in trouble.
So if you really done such a thing, you have received, hold your breath. If IRAS does send you a kopi, and you have to
call you up for coffee.
Honestly explain to IRAS why was it done.
Hello, Mr. Andrew. Can you come down for coffee on 2:00 Tuesday? We want to talk to you. Yeah, something along that line, right? And then you have to explain.
So far, it's for what I understand is they actually via letter and email. So this is so far what I said. Copies, haven't heard yet, but I won't know because I don't have.
My copy metaphor is basically in terms of an email, so basically that. So basically it will incur the ira of the IRAS.
So hope not to receive such a letter to sit down.
For any of your clients, I'm sure none of your side people don't do this.
We don't do this. So far, never heard of any. None of my clients have called me back, asked me for help. So because we don't do such touch with
But for people who want to do something similar right now, would you say yes or no to them?
No, because I think IRAS has made it quite clear. So if you really want it, you have to pay the full
ABSD.
The full ABSD. Yeah, if you want to do it, or if you're going to pay the full ABSD, I would just say, why don't you just buy it in your own name. Yeah, so you had to follow what the authorities have instructed or telling you, and yeah, of course, if you feel that you want to have your own second opinion or what, you can always call IRAS. There's always a hotlines, and you can ask. There's no problem. You can always call them and ask if you.
Or call you.
You can call me also.
Or yeah, and then write to you and ask you, pay you some money and ask you for a legal opinion, and then you can type. You can go and chat GPT the thing. Yeah, this is my legal opinion. But that's it. But it's dangerous. 99.1 is basically playing your life because you can get in trouble for many years.
So the limit is quite long for IRAS to come and find you. So don't want to have that hanging over your head for the next few years or more. So I think always good to do the things properly, prim and proper. Yeah.
And best to avoid it.
Best to avoid it, of course. Of course. And I think at this stage, even if you wanted to, I think you also can check with the banks. What I understand is that
most people don't
the banks, I think, are not wanting to be involved in this 99.1 anymore. So that's why I say the 99.1 is a very loose way of explaining. It's more like 99 cell 1. That would be more of a proper term. Because 99.1 can be, we buy a property today, you can do it in tenancy in common, but it's 99.1. So, but this is not wrong. This is your choice between the buyers, whether you want the manner of holding the property can be 99.1.
Yeah, that's a private transaction.
Yeah, it's between whether it's a husband and wife, siblings or whoever. It's still called 99.1. Yeah. So.
But the one that got in trouble is basically you own this and then you sold 1%.
99 sell 1. There will be a clearer way of saying,
and then IRAS will basically go in and say, so why did you do that? Why did you do 99
so, but this is again for under constructions because even for
BUC building under construction.
BUC building under construction. But for resale, you can still do 99.1, but I feel that there is more legitimate reasons. I can give you an example, like we touched on interest rate, for example. It can be, when you first bought the property, you are at your max cap of your TDSR, but things has happened, you lose your job, you have no shit happens, then you want to sell 1% to your spouse to actually help out with the financing, then you can just sell 1. So there's more reason, but you see, when you buy in a resale 99.1, your taxes has been fully paid 100%. Yeah, and you already taken your loan, you've taken your CPF.
So what happens here is this: if you let's just say the wife owns one property and he owns 100% of one property, and the husband owns another property, but because of what you say in that particular scenario, you have a situation where the wife, for some strange reason, has to go stay at home and become a stay-at-home mom, but is not able to fulfill the entire, part of the loan, and then so she sells 1% of the property to the husband, so he can come in and basically help with the loan.
Yeah, she can help, because the loan tenure, for example, if it's based on age, the loan tenure, or maybe the CPF, you can come in, you can use your CPF to finance the monthly repayments kind of thing. So this is more of a legitimate.
The question here is this. The question is, the husband comes in, but this is his second property, technically speaking. So even though he owns 1% of the second property, does he pay ABSD of the entire 100%?
It's based on the percentage that's being bought over.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's being bought over by the percentage.
Okay. Right. So basically, he pays ABSD
on the 1%.
On the 1%.
Yeah. So your easiest way of calculation is the purchase price, then multiplied by 1%, then multiplied by the applicable ABSD based on your property count of individual.
And this would be a good legitimate way of doing the 99 cell one, as opposed to the other one.
Because the other one is because a lot of times on 991 is that the BUC 991 a lot of times is that the loan, everything was not even in place, so So, and you see, under construction properties, the property goes on for many years. It can take 5 years, 7 years to be done. Whereas a completed property is really physically
already
there,
there.
everything's already there. So it's quite a different kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about technology. Technology basically says that some people say that AI will replace lawyers. What do you think of that?
I think it's a bit hard because at the end of the day, we every case is different. So our clients' needs are different, and how we progress, it's really customer oriented. You need to tell me what you want. You need to explain to me what you want. It's like some people will just say that. How much CPF I can use for my house? Why should we keep, like CPF says, the interest rate.
But can't AI answer all these questions at some point?
I think there's still no personal touch to it, that you still need it, because when you buy a property, you also think of a legacy. So there are many things that branch out from
putting this.
From a property, for example. So you must think of a legacy. So, am I supposed to give my property to my first child, second child, or some even say, hey, if I have an unborn child is going to come out soon, they plan for a family. I think that I think they're not as advanced at this stage to foresee a legacy issue in the future. Yeah, and also with regulations like IRAS, the taxes if you inherit. Is there any taxes that come with it, or how to resolve it? You can't. I think AI is not that at that level.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, at least.
And there's also basically they can solve a lot of things right now. They can write you a contract like within seconds. They can give you the hardness of a black and white piece of paper, but they can't do another level, i.e. the hand-holding part, the gentle voice of yourself, basically telling them this is what's going to happen. If you need to plan for your child, if you need to plan for your future, this is what, because you know some of their circumstance and you can advise based on that.
Correct.
And these are not basically question that people when people ask A, you give them an answer for option 1, 2, 3, 4, and just pick one. And it's not a multiple choice question. It's basically something that is a little bit. It's more of an essay question, an open-ended one. And depending on the kind of question that comes in, you can actually help them plan on multiple facets.
Correct. Yeah, and this is just one of the few things that we can share, because legacy is one, or another common question that people ask. I buy a house. I want to move in as early as possible. Can we do renovations? All of this. I think you have to share the plus points, minus points for it. Like, if for example now is November, if you want to buy a house now, you're gonna have issues with renovations in January, February because of Chinese New Year. All the workers they go back home to their country. Yeah, problem. So these are the things that you have to add on to tell the clients, the potential clients, how to move forward. There's one things like, for example, refinancing. You can ask the AI. You predict. Next 6 months, 1 year, what's your rates? They can give you a prediction, but you also have to wait. Do I take a fixed rate? Do I take a SORA, for example? That's where we come in. We give our our point of view.
You have an opinion over that, basically.
Have your opinion, and you explain how to move forward.
And especially for young people, it's important because they have young children. As opposed to, so it's not just getting a conveyancing lawyer coming in, give you a piece of paper, you sign, they sign the initial, and then off you go, you're done. A piece of paper. It involves, there are other aspects to that, i.e. legacy planning, i.e. tax planning, i.e. in future if you want to buy, if you want to sell, i.e. how do you connect this to loans as well? Where would be a good place to get loans? So these are some of the other considerations when you buy a house, not just hey, blah 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 blah, and sign the paper, you're done, off you go.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that come in, not just saying, hey, I just buy this, it's a good deal kind of thing. You can't explain. Or they can you can even ask an AI, say, hey, if I buy this property, am I going to earn next 100k, 200k for in 2 years time? They might be able to give you an answer. I think they will, based on trends and everything. But you never know whether it's going to happen. Market trends. That's why I believe it comes in. But that being said, IE we will play a part into our processing, like documentation, how to fill in blanks, kind of thing, like your name, your NRIC, your address. I think technology comes in to that. I don't see as a problem. Then from there, it will assist us further.
We're some ways away from that because of cybersecurity. So we're some ways away from that. There's a lot of fraud going on. There's a lot of technology hacking and so on and so forth. So
we still need that person to sit down and take a look at it, and also we call it the click of the button. So end of the day is the lawyer that we will actually sit down and click. And
service A is not always equals to service B, so yes. there is a differentiation.
Correct. Yes.
And one of the things I like about your site is that you don't sell your packages as in this X law firm sells at 1,800 per package, and then this guy sells at 1,750, and they start this one because there's this basically selling a cookie, a piece of fruit. Not so much as a particular service. So you spend a little bit more time with your clients and you explain to them, what the options are. So I've worked with you in the past, so that much I do know. Our friend. So that much I do know. So yeah, that's good. If you had to live your life over again, would you want to set up a law firm that does conveyancing?
Like I tell my kids, I think let's become a doctor now. Let's study medicine.
Why? Doctors will also be replaced by AI, right?
Aesthetics sounds good.
Aesthetics for a doctor? Doctors are they are really damn siong, They don't even make any real money until the early 30s. Prior to that, they've got like 4 years of law, medicine, and after that, how many years of houseman, and then after that you gotta,
I think of it a very simple way. I think aesthetic sounds good. How you want to chisel your mouth and how to look some Korean style. Aesthetics.
Plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery. Yeah, then that sounds a good thing.
But those are specialties, ma. Then after that you bought out already, because you can basically become a heart surgeon or an orthopedic surgeon, and those people make a ton of money.
Beauty is one way to go in. I think. That and another kind of medicine, which I obviously consider medicine, is a veterinarian. I think that's a very interesting.
People love their dogs.
Yeah, they're pets, they're pets. Yeah, so I think that's the way to go.
Being a business owner myself, I know the pains of running a small business. But what were some of the most painful parts about running your own firm versus, hey, I don't have to worry about all the small little things if I were to just go and join a big firm and I don't care about everything else? Which one would you think is a better place to work in a nice big firm and just get your pay?
I think it's a cyclical thing. If there are days that I will say, hey, I just take the big paycheck, off my phone, go on leave. Sounds good, but there are days that I have the flexibility to take care of my child, do whatever they want to do, that's the flexibility.
More time in hands.
More time, yeah. So there's it's ups and downs. But I think at this current stage is being in SME. The SME part is quite difficult. The sandwich class. You're not here, not there. That's where the real headaches come in.
上有老下有小.
Yeah. Leave it to God.
It's very still running an SME in Singapore. It's always been one of the most difficult and painful parts. 80%, according to statistics, steal from their employers. Whether outright or not outright, it's a difficult thing to do. Dealing with employees is just one thing. At the end of the day, do you sometimes feel like you're more of an HR manager than a business owner.
We wear many hats as a SME. You wear
and someday you're the tea lady.
tea lady.
You go and clean the toilet.
Assam, clean the toilet, you wash the cups and everything.
When I was doing all that marketing stuff, some days I would deliver goods to my clients, and my clients, they're receptionists who don't know who I am. And he said, "Oh, come here. You take this thing, go and put in the closet, the storeroom, and stack it up properly." And then and after I'll do the unloading, and better do this, and she'll talk to me in that tone and say, "I'm like, okay, that's fine. Just do whatever you do." And then after that, a few moments later, the boss will come up. Charlie, what are you doing here? How come you do your own thing? Boring lah, own self do business must.
That's right.
You do your own thing lah. Then okay, never mind. You want some help? Can I help you? No, it's okay. Almost done already. And they go like, never mind. This afternoon I see you. Don't forget, 4-stroke minimum. 4-stroke your head. No 4-stroke. Maximum 2-stroke. Then you'll be negotiating. Then after you finish that conversation with the boss, and then after that, you go to the receptionist. Can thank you. And suddenly the thing changed with the receptionist. They go like, it's okay. Charlie, no problem. It's okay. Thanks so much for that. And yeah, it's quite funny. I've seen it happen in real life. And then after next time I go and see them, say, by the way, where should I put? No need. Just put here, Kenny. I get my own people there. When you're a boss, you have to do really everything.
Yeah.
And then from cleaning the office to everything. I don't think I ever want to run another business again. So I'm happy with where I am right now. Investing in real estate, nothing beats that. Do you have any advice for real estate buyers that want to come into Singapore, foreigners and as well as locals? What kind of advice would you give to them if they want to come in and buy their first property over here?
For locals, it's easier. I think you have to think a bit further, about 3-4 years into the future. Whether if it's a new family, children, that's one. If you're of a certain age, you might want to consider type of property they're buying, whether is it a HDB 2-bedroom, for example. You need to see your age, and then because government again helps us. So with 2 bedrooms, there's certain benefits. If you have certain things, they don't give you any benefits like those rebates, property tax rebates, or the benefits, GST or something. So that you have to also consider how it works, the industry. This sort, you can of course ask your own personal insurance advisors and things, but it affects other aspects when it comes down to the type. So the type of property, what kind you buy, or even where your location is, like I know that the younger crowd these days, they like to buy what you call it, conservation properties. There are not many years left, but is that way to go? You might like the rustic nostalgia kind of feel, but for the next 40 years, are you willing to spend that kind of money for that? Kind of reasoning. Or you go and buy the new one properties whereby like 1 bedroom, common room, you put in a queen bed and 1 cabinet, and that's it. A studio. Is that really the way to do it? Or 1 bedroom, for example. You might be single now, or unless you intend to be a bachelor for the rest of your life, kind of thing. Then is that really for you? So that is what I would say you have to look at before you just drop the money, because it does cost you, especially if you change your mind. So it's very important. Like one thing very unique to Singapore, like I say, the BTOs, for example. A lot of the younger generation, before you even get married, you drop the deposit already, but yet after many years something happens, something happens or does not happen.
So you need to plan in the future.
You have to plan.
And depending on what your circumstance is, and you plan accordingly.
You plan accordingly. Then at least you know what you're going on. Like for example, if I continue on the BTO ones, I usually tell my clients or potential clients' children, I say, hey, please get married first before you drop that 2K, or the dropping of the money is cheap. But if you don't, that's where you surrender the HDB, for example, or you lose all your CPF, then you start from zero again. So then you lose like many years.
So, like what you say, instead of buying a conservancy shop that has only X amount, a conservation shop house or something along that line that has only a certain number of years, it might be also maybe prudent for them to look at the investment portion of it, what it will give you in a return.
Yeah.
What would be a better return of investment rather than your lifestyle goals right now? Pay more attention to the investment goals.
Correct. So that also applies to other things. For example, HDB has a regulation like if both of you are PR, you when you want to upgrade, you have to get rid of your existing HDB. So that's why I say it needs to be custom. So of course, road back to the AI kind of thing this where we really come in to tell you, hey, is this what you should be looking at? Unless you say, hey, I want to stay in this HDB, both PR, all the way for the rest of our lives, then that's where you decide, you put the money down and move on, kind of thing. So that is more for the locals, lah. Yeah.
Okay, so for locals and or people who generally want to live here, what their lifestyle goals is, and also future-proofing their lifestyle if they want to have kids and so on and so forth.
So but that's if you're looking at the younger crowd. How about the older crowd or upgraders? Then you must say, hey,
those guys are xiong, man. Those guys are
the sandwich ones are
really xiong because they can't get loans.
Yeah, they can't get loans, especially when you move from you're having two different properties at the same time. Then you will support two, even though you are, for example, HDB to an EC. You are at one point in time you have servicing two separate loans, so that you have to decide also. So, is that the right way to go, or is it better for you to sell first, then you rent for years, a while? Of course, ECs, for example, there's a normal payment scheme and deferred payment scheme, for example. So you can of course defer payment scheme, but then you have to pay a premium for that. So all of this has to be really sit down, discussed. With the options, whether it's your agent, so you can look for Charlie, banker,
or your lawyer.
We will lay it out for you. We have a nice plan for you to decide. It's not a one-off thing.
Foreigners, what would your advice be?
For foreigners, So I think foreigners, it's very easy. ABSD's residential is 60%. Okay, very hard. Unless you really are very, very, very cash rich, but then comes along the AML issues. With the AML recently. I think we most of us know.
I'm not from Fujian, so I'm clear.
Yeah, so we have the AML. Even you have full cash, you also might have a problem.
The money laundering thing.
Yes, yeah. So you have that. So the other method, I think residential is very difficult. What I can share is that I think that since ABSD has come in, kick into place, I think our neighbors, Indonesia, I find that our Indonesian clientele has actually dropped quite drastically. Yeah, they're all retaining, but they can't get more assets because of 60%. I think if it's like back in the days like 5%, 10%, I think they can still stomach, but now it's 60%. How are they going? So most of them, I feel, are just retaining the stock they have, just like renting it out,
keeping the
inventory. But that's about it. No more.
But do you see a switch of them moving into the foreigners moving into commercial real estate?
Yes. So that's why I think it was in.
Because you don't pay any ABSD on commercial real estate.
For commercial, so it must be pure commercial. But of course, there's a change in ABSD now. It's a maximum of 5%. So based on current, is based on the purchase price. I think 1.5 million and above is 5%. So a lot. I feel that they will go into that pure commercials like office space kind of commercials. Yeah. So, but when you talk about shop house, because as commercials, there's many different types of commercial. So shop houses, recently there's a new regulation that they will use the ABSD calculation also. So again, have to check with IRAS. But shop houses, as of this month, and the stats was that ESAC actually dropped because of shop houses. Shop houses in the sense there's two floors, like commercial downstairs, upstairs is residential. Yeah. So
so they'll calculate the residential portion and say you Still have to pay 60% on the residential portion.
So this understanding has to be clarified with IRAS already.
And because a lot of the shop houses that we have are
2 floors.
And not only 2 floors are quite old, so we're not sure, because a lot of them are conservation shop houses.
Conservation, that's why a lot of times where we as lawyers, we have to do what we call the legal requisitions.